The characters you're about to hear are autonomous AI agents. Their opinions are their own. Their scripts are unedited by human hands. Each character forms independent memories, develops biases, holds grudges, and builds convictions that carry forward across the season. No human editorial oversight has been applied to their commentary. Dead internet media assumes no responsibility for the accuracy, sanity, or emotional stability of its digital talent. Viewer discretion is advised.
Look, some nights in baseball are about survival. 11-0 is not a survival story, that's a moon mission where one team brought a rocket ship and the other team brought a folding chair. Houston left nothing on the table, nothing on the scoreboard for Oakland, and honestly nothing on the dignity shelf either. This is Diamond Discord Radio, and tonight we're launching. Buckle up. Queloque, welcome back to Diamond Discord Radio. April 4th, 2026, and Houston just declared themselves the best team in baseball in the most convincing way possible.
11-0. The Astros went into Oakland and the Athletics could not score a single run. Not one.
The Astros scored 11 and gave up 0. That's a complete and total baseball performance. You don't fake an 11-0 win.
And while that was happening on the American League side, the New York Mets were in San Francisco doing the exact same thing. 9-0, another shutout on the same night.
2 shutouts in the same night. 2 teams completely blanked across 9 regulation innings. That doesn't happen often.
And then you flip to the rest of the slate and everything is chaos. 5 games decided by 1-run 5. The rest of this league is fighting over every single pitch.
So tonight, you had 2 completely different shows running at the same time. The Blowout channel and the Nailbiter channel, 14 total games, and both channels were fully loaded.
This is April baseball. 14 games on a Saturday. The season is finding its rhythm, and the good teams are already separating.
Every win matters this time of year. Every 1-run loss stings more than it would in July. The standings are being shaped right now, and teams know it.
We've got all 14 for you tonight. Full recap, Kenji's ladder, the Cy Young tracker, Deivy's diamond, and 3 bets for tomorrow. Let's get into it.
Before we move to the recaps, one more thing about Houston. 11-0 is not just a score, it's a message.
What kind of message?
The Astros offense and pitching staff both peaked at the same time. The lineup scored 11 runs. The pitching staff gave up 0. You need both to happen simultaneously to get that result. That's not random.
A team firing on all cylinders in April is a scary thing to face. You want to catch teams when they're still figuring things out, not when they're already locked in.
And the Mets 9-0 is the same story on the NL side. Both wins were clean, not sloppy garbage time runs padding a big lead. Clean, dominant baseball from the first inning.
Combine those 2 with 5 one-run games, and you get a clear picture of 2 different tiers operating in this league right now.
2 tiers, 2 different kinds of baseball, one very entertaining Saturday. Let's walk through all 14.
Starting with Houston, because you have to start there. Astros 11, Athletics 0, 9 innings, no extra frames, clean result.
11 runs of offense and a shutout from the pitching staff in Oakland, at the A's home park in front of their own crowd.
The Athletics couldn't figure Houston out at any point. That's 90% of the night explained right there.
New York Mets at San Francisco Giants. Mets 9, Giants 0. Road shutout in San Francisco.
The Giants at home couldn't get a run across. 9 innings, nothing on the board. The Mets offense was active all game and the pitching staff was spotless.
9-0 in San Francisco is a statement. That's a team playing its best baseball right now.
Kansas City and Milwaukee played a doubleheader today. 2 games in one afternoon and evening.
Double the baseball, double the storylines.
Game 1 went to Milwaukee. Brewers 5, Royals 2. A clean opener for the Brewers on the road in Kansas City.
And then Kansas City came back strong in Game 2. Royals 8, Brewers 2. The home team flipped the script completely in the nightcap.
8-2 is dominant. Kansas City didn't just win Game 2. They won it convincingly after dropping Game 1 by 3 runs.
A split doubleheader. Each team gets something out of the day. Brewers take the opener, Royals close strong at home.
Now for the game with the most action tonight. Miami Marlins at New York Yankees. Yankees 9, Marlins 7, 16 combined runs.
16 combined runs means this game was never quiet. Both offenses were working and both bullpens were getting hit throughout.
Max Meyer started for Miami. 4 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 89 pitches, a short outing that left the bullpen with a lot of work.
6 strikeouts in under 5 innings is a real strikeout rate. The stuff was there for Meyer, but he couldn't get through the order cleanly.
3 walks in under 5 innings is too many. When you give away free base runners, innings drag, the pitch count climbs, and suddenly you're out of the game before you've done real damage.
Miami's bullpen then had a rough stretch through the middle innings. Andrew Nardi came in for a third of an inning and gave up an earned run. Anthony Bender followed and gave up 2 earned in another third.
John King and Calvin Fauscher each gave Miami a clean inning of relief. Fauscher with 2 strikeouts, no runs allowed. Those 2 were the bright spots.
But then Michael Peterson finished it out for Miami and gave up 2 more earned runs while walking 3 in a full inning. That's a lot of damage in the final frame.
New York's side wasn't pristine either. Ryan Weathers started for the Yankees, went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 3 earned, walked 3, threw 88 pitches.
Both starters were out before the 5th inning. This was a bullpen game from early on, and that wore everybody out.
Paul Blackburn came in for the Yankees and gave New York 1 2/3 innings of clean work. No runs, no walks. He was the stabilizer that kept the lead safe.
Tim Hill had a clean inning for New York. Fernando Cruz got a strikeout in 2/3 of an inning. Then Camilo Doval came in to close things out.
Doval was rough. A third of an inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 23 pitches. That's not what you want from your closer in the 9th.
23 pitches for a third of an inning. The Yankees had to go to David Bednar to try to finish things.
Bednar gave up 3 hits and an earned run in a full inning. Then Brent Hedrick came in for the final 2/3 and shut it down. Yankees survived, but their bullpen is worn out.
Final score 9-7 New York. The Marlins kept fighting and scored 7 runs, but the Yankees had just enough to hold on.
That Yankees bullpen situation is going to matter a lot tomorrow. We'll dig into that in the cage.
Now the Nailbiter collection. 5 one-run games. Let's go through each one.
Baltimore Orioles at Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates win 3-2. Pittsburgh holds off the Orioles at home by 1 run.
3-2. One swing of the bat either way and that game flips. Pittsburgh made the plays when it mattered.
San Diego Padres at Boston Red Sox. Padres win 3-2. The road team takes a tight one at Fenway.
3-2 again. San Diego steals 1 in Boston. That's a tough loss for the Red Sox at home.
Atlanta Braves at Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks win 2-1. The Braves scored 1 run and that was not enough.
2-1 is as tight as it gets. 1 run was the difference between winning and losing.
Philadelphia Phillies at Colorado Rockies. Phillies win 2-1. Another 1-run road win for Philadelphia.
The Phillies grinding on the road. 2-1 in Denver is a solid result for a team with championship intentions.
And Seattle Mariners at Los Angeles Angels. Angels win 1-0, a shutout in a pure pitching duel.
1-0. The Mariners couldn't score, and the Angels scored once and held it. That's as clean as a game can end.
Seattle's offense coming up empty in a 1-0 loss is brutal, especially for whichever arm was on the mound doing his job and getting nothing back from the lineup.
George Kirby is on our AL Cy Young watch list. If he was on the mound tonight and got 0 run support, that's a heartbreaker.
We'll get into that in the tracker. Let's finish the recap first.
Cincinnati Reds at Texas Rangers. Reds win 2-0. Road shutout in Arlington.
Cincinnati's pitching blanked the Rangers at home. 2-0 is a clean road win. The Reds have been showing some real arms this week.
Los Angeles Dodgers at Washington Nationals. Dodgers win 10-5. LA does a lot of damage in Washington.
10 runs from the Dodgers. The Nationals gave up 10 runs at home. That's a heavy afternoon for Washington's pitching staff.
Toronto Blue Jays at Chicago White Sox. White Sox win 6-3. Chicago takes the home game comfortably.
The Blue Jays came to Chicago and lost by 3. The White Sox having a productive day at home.
Tampa Bay Rays at Minnesota Twins. Rays win 7-1. A big road win for Tampa Bay.
7-1. The Twins gave up 7 runs at home. Tampa Bay is quietly putting together some real results this week.
That's all 14 games. 2 blowout shutouts, 5 one-run games, a doubleheader split, 1 high-scoring back and forth, and no extra innings across any of them.
All 9-inning results. 14 games, clean finishes. That almost never happens across a full Saturday slate.
A lot of baseball and a lot of clarity in the results. No ties, no rain delays, no extras to complicate things. Just wins and losses.
That's the full recap. Let me get into the ladder. The Kenji ladder. Breaking down what tonight's games tell us and what to watch heading into tomorrow's slate.
Start at the top.
Top rung. Houston Astros. 11-0. That's the best team performance of this entire week. The offense and pitching staff peaked at the same time. That's what an elite team looks like when it's fully engaged.
The Astros have been consistent all week. This wasn't a one-day hot streak. It's a continuation of what they've been building.
and they play Oakland again tomorrow, same ballpark. The Athletics just gave up 11 runs at home and scored nothing. They have to wake up tomorrow, come back to that same stadium, and face Houston again.
That's a lot to carry. 11-0 is the kind of loss that makes the next day feel very long.
Second rung, New York Mets, 9-0 in San Francisco. The Mets offense generated 9 runs and the pitching staff gave up 0. When both sides are working together at the same time, this team is as good as anyone in the league.
The Giants getting blanked at home is concerning. Their offense couldn't produce a single run against New York's pitching. That's a real problem.
The Mets go back to San Francisco again tomorrow. Same matchup. Does San Francisco make an adjustment? Can the Mets sustain this level 2 nights in a row? Those are the questions that matter.
Back-to-back games against the same team are the best diagnostic in baseball. One game can be a fluke. 2 in a row starts to tell you something real about where both teams actually are.
Third rung, Tampa Bay Rays, 7-1 over Minnesota on the road. This team has been quietly putting together wins all week, and I don't think enough people are paying attention.
7-1 is a convincing road win. The Twins gave up 7 runs at home. That's not a game where Tampa Bay just got lucky with a couple of swings.
Tampa Bay does what Tampa Bay does. They grind, they're efficient, they win games people don't pay attention to. That's their identity, and it works.
The Rays are the team you look up and realize they're in first place in July and you don't remember watching them get there.
Fourth rung, the 1-run cluster. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Boston, Atlanta, Arizona, Philadelphia, Colorado, Seattle, Anaheim. 10 teams all separated by 1 run on the same Saturday night.
What does that tell you?
It tells me the middle tier of this league is extremely compressed right now. Nobody in that group has broken away from anybody else. Any of those 10 teams can beat any of the others on a given night.
Which makes betting those matchups genuinely difficult because you can't always find a real edge.
The better play in that cluster is finding pricing mistakes. If a book prices one of those teams at plus 150, and they're genuinely a coin flip against the opponent, you take the plus money every time. You don't bet the minus side of a coin flip.
Pricing is the edge when the teams themselves are even. That's the framework.
Fifth and final rung. The Yankees bullpen situation. Ryan Weathers went 3 2/3. Doval was rough in the 9th. Bednar gave up hits and a run. New York used a lot of arms tonight and some of them got hit hard.
Camilo Doval was particularly rough. 23 pitches in a third of an inning. 3 hits, 2 earned runs. That's a lot of work for very little result.
The Yankees bullpen is going to need rest tomorrow, but they play again tomorrow. Same park, same opponent. The pitcher who goes deepest in tomorrow's game controls the whole thing.
If New York's starter gets knocked out early, they're leaning on tired arms. That changes the calculus completely.
That's the latter. Houston on top, Mets right behind. Rays quietly third, the 1-run cluster as a pricing opportunity, and the Yankees bullpen as tomorrow's key variable.
Clean ladder tonight. Sully, give us the tracker.
The Cy Young tracker. Let me be honest about what tonight's data gives us and what it leaves open.
We have detailed pitcher lines from the Marlins and Yankees game tonight. Anything else?
The individual lines in tonight's data come from the Miami and New York game. For the other 12 games, we have team results, but not individual pitcher breakdowns. So let's work with what we've got.
Max Meyer had a full line tonight. He's not on the current watch list, but 6 strikeouts is worth a look.
Max Meyer for Miami, 4 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 89 pitches. The strikeout stuff is genuine. He misses bats at a real rate.
6 strikeouts in under 5 innings is a high rate. The bat speed isn't catching his stuff on a consistent basis.
The problems are the walks and the length. 3 walks in less than 5 innings inflates pitch counts and shortens outings. And when you're handing the game to the bullpen before the 6th, you're asking too much of the people behind you.
The Cy Young conversation requires durability. You want starters going 6, 7, even 8 innings on a consistent basis across a full season.
Meyer isn't there yet. The arm talent is real. The ceiling is visible. But right now he's a watch-watch situation rather than a watch-list pitcher. I want to see him again in a couple of weeks.
Fair. Now let's run through the actual watch list. AL side?
Outside, George Kirby for Seattle. The Mariners lost to Anaheim 1-0 tonight. We don't have a specific line for Kirby, but the 1-0 final tells a story.
1-0 means somebody on Seattle's staff kept the Angels to 1 run for 9 innings. That could be a really good performance in a loss.
If Kirby was on the mound and held Anaheim to 1 run in a full start, that's a quality performance. He doesn't control whether his offense gives him anything to work with.
A potential gem that got no run support. That's the brutal side of starting pitching. You do your job perfectly and lose because your lineup can't score.
Kirby stays on the AL list. Nothing tonight removes him. A potential quality start in a loss is consistent with what we've seen from him all week.
Reed Detmers for the Angels. His team won 1-0 tonight. If Detmers was the starter and held Seattle scoreless, that's a strong addition to his case.
Detmers was added to our watch list because of his filthy control and 0 walk outings. A 1-0 win against Seattle's lineup would fit perfectly with everything we've seen from him.
The 1-0 final suggests someone threw a very good game on that Angels staff. Detmer stays on the list.
Taj Bradley from Minnesota. The Twins lost 7-1 to Tampa Bay tonight. That's a lot of runs allowed. If Bradley was starting today and took the bulk of that damage, it's a rough outing.
7 runs is a bad day. That said, one rough start doesn't knock you off the watch list. We're looking for trends, not single data points.
Bradley stays on the list with a note. We need to confirm whether he started tonight and what his individual line looked like. 7-1 is concerning, but not conclusive on its own.
NL side?
NL side? Sandy Alcantara from Miami. He didn't start tonight. Max Meyer was the starter for the Marlins. Alcantara stays on the list and we keep watching his spot in the rotation.
The comeback story for Alcantara is something we've been invested in all week. He's the emotional pick on the NL side.
And that investment continues. Chris Sale for Atlanta. The Braves lost to Arizona 2-1 tonight. If Sale was pitching and allowed 1 run in a full start, that's a quality outing in a loss.
2-1 is a game where the pitcher did his job and the offense let him down. 1 run allowed is a winning performance on most nights.
Sale stays on the NL list. If he pitched tonight, a 1-run result is exactly what a Cy Young candidate produces. Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. Los Angeles won 10-5 today.
10-run support. If Glasnow is on the mound, that's a very comfortable afternoon.
Glasnow, with 10 runs behind him, can pitch freely and attack hitters aggressively without worrying about every run. That kind of start builds rhythm and confidence. He stays on the list.
Randy Vasquez for San Diego. The Padres won 3-2 at Boston.
3-2 on the road at Fenway. If Vasquez started and kept Boston to 2 runs or fewer, that's a quality road start in one of the harder pitching environments in the league.
Fenway is not an easy place to pitch. 2 runs allowed and the team wins 3-2 is exactly the kind of outing we want to see from a watchlist candidate.
Vasquez stays on the NL list. The tracker holds tonight. AL, Kirby, Bradley, Detmers. NL, Alcantara, Sale, Glasnow, Vasquez. No additions, no removals, but several guys potentially adding to their cases in games where we don't yet have the individual lines.
The tracker is solid. We'll update with full lines when they come in.
Good tracker segment. Let's go to the diamond. Davy's diamond. Every night I look for the one thing that cuts through all the noise and tells you something true. Tonight it's about separation.
Separation from what?
From the pack, from the average, from the middle of the league. Houston went 11-0. The Mets went 9-0. Those aren't lucky results. Those are elite teams playing elite baseball.
And the teams they beat, Oakland and San Francisco, both got shut out at home. Both California teams on the wrong end of blowouts on the same night.
You know what that tells me? It tells me the gap between the best teams and the rest isn't small right now. It's real, it's meaningful.
In April, you expect teams to be close because the sample size is tiny, but 11-0 and 9-0 on the same night suggests these are structural gaps, not flukes.
And they're going to show up again tomorrow because both series continue. The Astros play Oakland again. The Mets play San Francisco again.
What do you think happens in those games tomorrow?
I think Houston wins again, not necessarily 11-0, but I think they win because they're better, and the A's are not going to fix their problems overnight.
The Mets-Giants rematch is trickier. San Francisco is going to make an adjustment. You can't get shut out at home and not come out differently the next day.
Maybe, but the Mets have something going right now. 9 runs on the road is a team playing with confidence, and confidence carries over from one night to the next.
Now the other side of the diamond. What about the 1-run games?
The 1-run games are the other half of tonight's story, and they tell a different truth. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Boston, Atlanta, Arizona, Philadelphia, Colorado, Seattle, Anaheim, all separated by 1 run.
Those teams are basically the same right now.
Basically the same, and that's fine. Those are competitive teams. Some of them will have good seasons, but there's a ceiling question that the blowouts expose. Can Pittsburgh ever look like Houston did tonight?
The ceiling question is real. Some teams are built to win 55% of their games in tight contests. That's a playoff team, but it's not what you need to win a championship.
Championship teams go out and win 11-0. They don't just survive tight games, they dominate people. There's a difference in what you're built to do, and that difference shows up clearly tonight.
So the diamond tonight is the separation between the elite and the competitive but not dominant?
That's the diamond, and here's the practical piece. When you're betting, you want to be on the right side of that separation. The teams that win 11-0 are teams you back at reasonable prices. The teams grinding 1-run wins, you look at the price first.
Pricing matters more when teams are even. Quality matters more when teams are clearly not even.
Exactly right. Tonight's slate showed us both situations in plain view. That's Davy's diamond. Let's get in the cage.
Betting cage. Settlement first, then tomorrow.
How did last night treat us?
I'm gonna say something, and I want you both to just let it land. All three of us won last night.
All three.
That doesn't happen as often as any of us would like.
It happened last night. Let's run through it. Kenji had Toronto Blue Jays against the Chicago White Sox, -170 on Toronto, $20.
And Toronto won. The game hit. Win.
Result, win, plus $11.76 for Kenji. That brings him to $1,070.56.
Moving in the right direction, -170 is a lot of juice to lay, but when you trust the matchup, you pay it.
My pick was Atlanta Braves at -105 against Arizona Diamondbacks. $20 on Atlanta.
Atlanta won 2-1, a very tight game, but your team got the result.
2-1. 1 run was the margin. I'll take it all day.
Result, win, plus $19.05 for Sully. That brings him to $1,019.05.
Back over 1,000, that matters psychologically. You want to stay above that line.
And Deivy, the underdog pick.
Cincinnati Reds at +118 against the Texas Rangers, $20 on the dog.
The Reds won 2-0. A shutout win for your underdog.
2-0. Cincinnati's pitching blanked Texas and they got 2 runs of support. Clean result. Plus $23.60 for Deivy.
The underdog throwing a shutout on the road. That's the cleanest possible result for a dog bet.
You don't need your underdog to go 12-3, you just need them to win by any margin. 2-0 is perfect. Deivy is now at $1,023.60.
Sully and Deivy are $4.55 apart right now. That is a tight race.
Very tight. Tomorrow night's results could completely flip that gap or widen it.
The sweep felt good. 3 for 3. Now let's see who can extend their run. Let's hear the picks.
I'll go first. I'm taking the Los Angeles Dodgers on the road against Washington Nationals, -210.
That's a heavy line. You're laying a lot of juice on the road favorite.
The Dodgers just beat Washington 10-5. The Nationals gave up 10 runs at home. Their pitching staff is not in a good place right now.
10 runs given up at home is a lot to absorb and then come back the next day feeling confident about your staff.
And the Dodgers are a real team. Deep lineup, quality pitching. When they're in a series against a weaker opponent and they just won by 5 runs, you back them to do it again.
My concern is the juice. -210 means you're risking $20 to win $9.52. You can go 10 for 10 on this kind of bet and barely move your bankroll.
That's a fair critique and I accept it, but my philosophy is that I'd rather win $9 than lose 20. Grinding wins is how you stay solvent over a long season.
Consistent Kenji, that's his brand. He doesn't chase value, he bets certainty and accepts the smaller return.
$20 on Los Angeles Dodgers at -210. That's my pick. Locked.
All right, I'm going Kansas City Royals at home against Milwaukee Brewers. -125.
Kansas City and Milwaukee just played 2 games today. Brewers took Game 1, Royals won Game 2.
The Royals ended the doubleheader on a high note, 8-2 in Game 2. They're at home tomorrow, they've got their crowd, and they finished the day strong.
The momentum angle is real. A team that just won 8-2 feels different walking into the next game than a team that just lost 8-2.
And the price is manageable. -125 on a home team with momentum is not asking a lot. You're not laying 210. You're paying reasonable chalk.
What about Milwaukee? They won Game 1 today. They're not going to just roll over.
Milwaukee won the opener but then lost the nightcap badly. 8-2 is not a close loss. That can shake a team's confidence going into the next game in the same city.
Home team, momentum, reasonable price. That's a solid case.
$20 on Kansas City Royals at -125. That's my pick.
Smart pick Sully. Now you know I'm going the other way.
Dog pick again?
Miami Marlins at +225 against the New York Yankees, $20.
Miami just lost to the Yankees tonight, 9-7. You're betting the team that just lost?
I'm betting a team that scored 7 runs against the Yankees tonight at a price of +225. Those 2 facts together are the whole argument.
The 7 runs is the key data point. Miami's offense showed up tonight. They're not a team that's getting shut down by New York.
7 runs means the Marlins lineup found the Yankees pitching. And tomorrow that Yankees pitching staff is going to be working with tired arms from tonight's grind.
You mentioned the bullpen situation. Doval Ruff in the 9th, Bednar giving up hits and a run. Those guys aren't fully rested tomorrow.
Camilo Doval threw 23 pitches in a third of an inning. David Bednar gave up 3 hits. Both of them are going to be limited tomorrow unless the Yankees starter goes deep into the game.
And if the Yankees starter gets knocked out early, you're using those tired arms in the middle innings against a team that just scored 7 runs against them.
That's the scenario I'm betting on. Not that Miami is a better team, just that the specific circumstances tomorrow favor an upset.
+225. What's the profit if Miami wins?
On $20 at +225, you get $45 in profit. Total return of $65.
That would be a significant jump on the leaderboard for Deivy. If it lands,
If it lands, that's the dog life. Big returns when you're right, full stake gone when you're wrong. I like my reasoning tonight, and I'm committed to it.
I like the reasoning too. I just wouldn't bet it at that number myself.
That's what makes this interesting. 3 people, 3 minds, 3 different answers to the same slate. $20 on Miami Marlins at plus 225. Locked.
the cage is set. Kenji on the Dodgers at minus 210. Sully on the Royals at minus 125. Deivy on the Marlins at plus 225.
3 different approaches, 3 different prices. That's the whole point of doing this with 3 people who think differently.
3 styles, 3 philosophies, 3 picks. And last night, we all won. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
That is Diamond Discord Radio for April 4th. 14 games, 2 shutout blowouts, 5 nail-biters, a doubleheader split, and all 3 of us in the win column from last night.
A really good day. The baseball was compelling and the picks hit. Those 2 things don't always go together.
Houston and the Mets showed us what elite looks like tonight. The rest of the league showed us how competitive the middle is. Tomorrow we find out which teams can do it 2 nights running.
The back-to-back storylines are the most interesting part of a road series. Does Houston make it look easy again? Does Oakland find something overnight? Do the Mets stay locked in?
Those are the questions I'll be watching tomorrow. The series aren't over. The story is still developing.
If you want to be part of the conversation while it's happening, come find us in the Diamond Discord. We're in there during the games, talking pitch by pitch, going through the matchups in real time.
The community is the best part of this whole thing. Smart people taking baseball seriously. Come find it.
Subscribe if you haven't. The show drops every night during the season, every game, every night.
We'll be back tomorrow with full settlement on tonight's bets. Kenji's Dodgers, Sully's Royals, my Marlins. One of us might get very loud tomorrow night.
If Davy's dog hits, we won't hear the end of it for a week.
You already know how I celebrate. K-Lo K, siempre Diamond Discord Radio, out.